The hidden chronicles of same-sex desire in classical Rome. Did you realize that among the most influential figures in ancient Rome, relations with other men were commonplace, and society largely overlooked them? Yet, before concluding that Rome represented an ideal haven for queer expression, reconsider that notion. Same-sex intimacy there evolved not around romance or self-affirmation, but around assertions of superiority, conquest, and stark inequalities. The choice of partner could propel one's ascent in governance or shatter it in an instant. In this exploration, we uncover concealed realities beyond those grand stone facades, from imperial paramours to statues that stigmatize certain forms of yearning. Share in the comments the hour you're tuning in. It's fascinating to discover from which global regions audiences seek these revelations. And for those drawn to unvarnished, straightforward historical accounts, a subscription isn't mandatory, though it's warmly recommended. Now, inhale deeply. This reveals a facet of Rome concealed from view. You find yourself in a weathered Roman thoroughfare. Its cobblestone smoothed by ages of footfall and flanked by pillars that shimmered brilliantly beneath the sun of the Mediterranean. Merchants hawk footwear, while pompous officials parade in draped garments as if they pioneered arrogance itself. Yet, concealed within the stonework, the governance, and the verses, lies an aspect Rome seldom voiced openly. Status wasn't determined by whom you cherished, but by how you wielded longing as a tool of authority. In antiquity, same-sex encounters weren't an assertion of self. They constituted a display of supremacy, and scrutiny was perpetual. Envision yourself as a free Roman male, affluent and esteemed. You've secured your standing. You share meals with thinkers and partake in diluted vintages amid talks of restraint. But as darkness descends and the garment falls away, that hinges on your function, particularly if you assume the inserting or inserted position. For in Rome, such interactions weren't inherently reproached. Dishonor arose solely if they inverted the anticipated order of society. In essence, exerting it upon another was permissible, permitting it upon yourself was not. Such was the harsh rationale of Roman intimacy, where ranks streamed unidirectionally. It concerned not fondness or bonds of feeling. It involved who subdued whom. Indeed, this permeated eroticism as profoundly as combat. Assuming the assertive role preserved one's virility. Embracing the yielding one, particularly as a free adult male, invited derision, ridicule, and at times juridical repercussions. Thus, the civilization that engineered waterways and pondered philosophers was equally fixated on upholding men erect, both physically and figuratively. Avoid equating this with contemporary notions of erotic preference. Romans eschewed categories like homosexual or heterosexual. They emphasized stratified sexual functions and debasement. One might crave both genders and remain deemed utterly conventional, provided one's conduct in the encounter mirrored one's societal rank. Suppose you're a counselor betting your male bondservant. No one raises an issue. It's anticipated. He's your asset after all. But should you be discovered in a receptive stance, notably with a fellow citizen, you become the butt of foreign jests. Lampoons compose about you. Rivals murmur. Your honor fractures. And Roman honor was as delicate as a crystal urn amid a wheel contest. Recall the versifier Martial? His short poems could eviscerate characters, targeting males charged with effeminate conduct. These barbs concerned less the deeds and the aura of frailty. Frailty was a foe, not craving for SE Roman manhood. It wasn't defined by attraction. It was about evading claims of subjugation, even privately. Now, visualize the abode of a Roman aristocrat, perhaps wed to a woman of solid lineage. Father to two lads studying eloquence, yet he frequents steam baths to engage a youthful male courtesan. No outrage ensues. Provided the youth holds inferior rank, bondservant, emancipated, outsider, no queries arise. Control was paramount. Societal, carnal, ritual, all adhered to Rome's order of precedence. Does this resonate? In certain contemporary power arenas, akin dynamics persist. Influential persons ensnared in improprieties face censure not for deed, but for apparent forfeiture command. It's seldom the occurrence. It's the reins holder. This dominance-oriented lens on eroticism elucidates why Roman visuals and inscriptions appear so inconsistently bold. One encounters explicit depictions, paired with saucy annotations. It's as if the realm bore dual visages, one flaunting civic rectitude, the other slipping into vapor rooms unobserved. The versifier juvenile, ever unrestrained, lambasted the duplicity of patricians who advocated ethical purity daylight and reveled in sensual disarray nocturnally. Yet he never posited male-male yearning as aberrant, merely problematic in honor wane. There resided the stigma, and herein lies the peculiarity. Though Rome appropriated extensively from Greece, deities, wisdom, structures, it rejected Athens' milder approach to elder-youth male ties. Romans harbored mild distrust toward Greek sentiment in such bonds. To them, it reeked overly lyrical, equitable, tender, hazardous. Romans demanded all reinforced stratification, including carnality, particularly carnality. Authority must ascend unidirectionally. Potent to feeble, citizen to thrall, counselor to attendant. Deviations bred disorder, Greek disorder. You rouse. Clinging to that vision, the dignified Roman counselor, stately and mean, yet dreading transformation into poetic farce. For if one occupation in Rome surpassed gladiatorial peril, it might be yielding in a male-male liaison, not from ethical frenzy, but from its implication for one's manhood, command, legitimacy, societal position. Rome queried not your affections, but your subjugations. Misinterpreting this through current perspectives is straightforward. Presently, erotic leanings center on selfhood and agreement. Then, Rome fixated on mastery and mortification, receptive participation, especially for a freeborn Roman male, revoked full manhood status. You faced jeers with epithets, forfeited governmental trust, and were ostracized from elite circles. Even Gate invited scrutiny. Overly fluid, dubious, excessively mild, potentially infamous. The bard Catullus penned barbs so acrid they dwarfed tabloid dribbles. His taunts seldom targeted partners. They assailed the inferior role. Yielding symbolized forfeiting Roman valor. Not merely honor, but citizenship's essence. After all, wasn't Rome founded on dominance over yielding? Beyond tittle-tattles, jurisprudence intruded, notably under Augustus, venturing into ethical edicts. The Lex Scantinia, an ambiguous, sporadically applied statute, ostensibly addressed violations of freeborn males, yet exposed Rome's contorted reasoning. A consensual receptive participant wasn't deemed victimized. You were disgraced. A male permitting female-like treatment. Worse, servile treatment. That was supreme affront. Rome dreaded not same-sex acts inherently, but emasculation. To Rome, the physique was a conflict zone, yielding equal rout. Thus, for a free Roman male citizen, betting a lower status male was acceptable if assertive. Invert it, and you hazard Senate expulsion via laughter. Hence, Romans ensured partners were bondservants, aliens, or socially beneath. It wasn't mere liking. It was safeguard governmental plating. Rumors of eclectic appetites were tolerable. Whispers of command lost were not. Suppose you're Marcus, an emerging luminary in Roman tribunals. Admirers laud your rhetoric. You cite Cicero fluidly, but murmurs arise of undue fondness for your Hellenic attendant. Worse, the youth boasts of concessions you granted. Abruptly, coalitions unravel. Invite cease. A ditty on your pliant ethics circulates virally. You forfeit career not through craving, but perceived emasculation. Roman wit and shame's boundary was slender as a victory garland. One clever slight could ruin. Consider Julius Caesar. Suetonius chronicles an enduring tale from Caesar's adolescence. He was Bithynia's queen, receptive to King Nicomedes on a state journey. Foes clung to it. They branded him not depraved, but womanish. Not a sailing policy, but carriage, though Caesar transcended. The slanders adhered like adhered to footwear. Roman manhood was an ever-evolving act. You projected command, even absent, akin to today's luminaries curating personas. Roman elites navigated an unseen balance beam of conduct. Overly coarse, barbaric. Overly yielding, unmanly. Midway lay endurance. Assumed this disparity confined to statecraft? Nay, performers, notably mime artists or farceurs, ranked lowly partly for feminine portrayals. Once a male form invited gaze submissively. Status sagged like deflated hide spheres. In this realm, even coiffure could betray. Youthful locks, aping Hellenic or provincial modes, drew suspicion. Scent? Perilous. Adornments? Unless post-victory. Cautious. You projected power's man perpetually, and power never fluttered lashes. It's vital to query. Do we persist thus? How frequently do we scrutinize exteriors by virile or yielding traits? How often conflate gentleness with frailty? That Roman dread of subjugation, of seeming lesser manhood, echoes subtly in gymnasia, governance, and digital forms today. And the paradox? While Rome venerated Mars, strife deity, and Hercules, Raw might incarnate, it esteemed allure, lyricism, seduction's craft. But these were secure only when brandished as blade, not accepted as boon. Desirability was Roman, over-eagerness, perilous. You traverse a Pompeian barrier, in size with base yet strangely lyrical scrawls, and it strikes. Rome fixated on might and supremacy. Yet another element wove subtly through dim chambers, secluded patios, nocturnal murmurs. Age factored heavily, for in male ties, partners' rank transcended mere authority. It tied to years. Therein, deep in the obscurity, behold the domain of pueri or youth. In Roman custom, this denoted not prepubescence, but teens, usually 12 to 18, not infancy, but a keenly monitored, latent phase of adolescence where corporeal grace was lauded and effective links endured, bounded. Rome shunned overt exaltation of elder youth emotional bonds as in classic Greece. Indeed, it disdained the notion. Nonetheless, elites sought such liaisons if youth lacked citizenship as function. Receptive youth, ephemeral, remained rigidly upheld. A timer ticked these dalliances. Upon maturity signs, facial hair, base tammer, expanded torso, the ought shift from cherished to citizen prep, delaying in youth too long aroused doubts. It implied the youth clung to yielding, for the elder pursued un-Roman sense. Either way, scrutiny mounted. Thus, picture a youthful bondservant lad, perhaps imported from Hellenic East or African North, acquired not solely for toil but aesthetics. He might gain fine attire, scented ablutions, even poetic tutelage. But he, training was for display, upon aesthetic expiry, discard or reassigned to mundane labor. Rome retained youth not for essence, but the instant symbolized. This framework flourished on oxymoron. Rome scorned Hellenic pederastia. The refined elder-teen bonds lauded in Athenian lore. Yet elites mimicked Hellenic youth ideals. Unmarred visages, lithe builds, mild traits. Youth sculptures grace gardens. Verses extolled gazes, forms ageless reluctance. Fixation was ocular. Stage curated to skirt masculine bounds, yet occasionally bounds fractured. Emperor Hadrian's tied to Antinous, a captivating Hellenic youth, so enthralled that upon Nile drowning, enigmatic, Hadrian apotheosized him. Shrines erected, effigies proliferated empire-wide, locales rechristened. Fleetingly, Antinous divinized, but senatorial response mingled, deifying a youthful alien lover seemed indulgent, sentimental, Hellenic. Even grieving, Hadrian judged for excess care. You perceive Roman ethos teetering on blade's edge. Youth obsessed yet attachment averse. Youth ties tolerated if ornamental. Beauty venerated. Yielding dreaded. Antinous effigies eternally youthful, not man, post-child. These inconsistencies weren't theoretical. They infiltrated jurisprudence. Roman codes inconsistent, oft disregarded, yet staged societal threats. Sporadic purges targeted corruptors of freeborn youth. More commonly, laws shielded youth less than penalizing improprieties haze. Citizen youth, patron guarded, overtired, overpampered, overt, concerns mounted, hypocrisy vast. Decadent men house youthful paramours behind villa barriers. Thinkers discourse virtue, while etching hearts in desks. Even ethicist chroniclers like Tacitus, decrying Roman ethos decline, seldom outright condemned such bonds. They assailed emotional exposure or elder command loss. You ponder how many youths voiced input, how many coerced into beauty youth waltzed, versified, then discarded like stale vintage. Scarce youth voices endure, only effigies, barbed verse, vanishing scrawls. Silent systemic. They were visual, not vocal. Craved, not cherished. Roman eufixation merely echoed transient's obsession. The herbs eternally remade, reconstructed, subdued, incinerated, reborn. Why expect lust love stability? You read glance Pompeian barrier, not mere obscenities, but anxious mirth and enduring stone. A realm admiring you while feigning non-adoration, suppressing fondness while permitting esteem, chiseling sentiments flushed with dominance's tool. You veered in altars, absent market cries, matron chatter. Here, stone idols tower, centuries in burnished male stand statue still. You've entered sovereign domain. For Roman eroticism discourse, emperors are indispensable, elevated above society, yet eternally observed. When they cherish males, realm quake or chortle. Commence with Nero, if Rome a dramatic serial. Nero its sensational lead. He didn't merely flout norms. He twirled over in gilt-stitched gauze. Nero wed publicly a male Sporus, in right revealed endowment, bridal splendor for queens. Sporus, ex-thrall, paraded as imperial mate, titled empress, court treated thus. Another instance, Nero bridal robe, wedding freedman Pythagoras, wifely active, elite response, aghast intrigue. Suetonius, imperial scandalmonger, recounts with fury and zest. Curiously, Nero censured not for male affection, but absurdity, prevailing womanishly, marital sincerity, power to pageant. Emperors near omnipotent, but candor hazardous. Proximity to emotive openness bred unease. Rome endured same-sex excess of detached, calculated, affection-mimicking panic. Advanced to Hadrian, Antinous' beloved, the drowned divinized youth. Unlike Nero's spectacles, Hadrian seemed intimate. Antinous lost grieving. Hadrian ordered empire-spanning effigies. Eternal youth chiseled. Flawless ringlets, wistful orbs. Locales were named, coins as faced, shrines raised. Antinous godlord. Thus, Rome's inaugural overt male love saga. Stone preserved. Unanimously unloved. Senators deemed Greek team deification on Roman over tender, Hellenic. But Hadrian's sovereigns molded truth. Grief became godly decree. Affection cult right. Yet beneath stone, incense, unease. Even empire's mightiest mock for overt, yielding love. Not solely Nero, Hadrian. Elagabalus, notorious teen sovereign chaos fawn. Proclaimed wedding male charioteer Heracles, self-wiping. Offered gold for pre-modern gender alteration positions. Rome collectively deranged. Elagabalus flaunted tradition. Shattered power's illusionary form. Elagabalus endured briefly. Slain at 18. Evident. Imperial male loves elicited not juridical rebuke, but dramatic appraisal. Punished not yearning, but optics. Feminine, alien, emotive roles. Rome tolerated savagery. Veiled, blushing male unnerved. Yet these sovereigns trailblazed. In extravagance, tenderness, defiance, they unmasked Roman duplicity. Beneath busts, edicts, Rome theater. Affection, statecraft, supremacy, all garb. Right garb suffice. Were these sovereigns valiant or invulnerable? Nero Sporus nuptial from love or notoriety. Hadrian Antinous mourning as mortal or youth symbols. Annals silent. Bavius scrawls, effigies. Fuming senators, Rome floundered with male closeness. Feared, jested, eternized, ignored it. Populace observed. Rumors heard. Walls etched jests. Bedtime yarns of moonlight boy kissing emperors. Though no sapphic odes, ample murmurs convey inner-line yearning. Imperial boudoir mirrors. Sovereign deeds Rome imitated. Warily, selectively, desired dominant disguise. Truth seep, marble script hearsay. Even sovereigns enamored, sometimes indifferently known. You depart palace, city re-entering, statue absent, coin unmended locales. Smoky tavern near Subura. Crowded vapor house, laughter echo, splash resound. Here, senatorial hauteur, imperial theatrics beneath, authentic Rome emerges. Inconsistent, unashamed, secrets half concealed. While codes, lore fame, virtue defense, Roman existence off shrug. You'd act youthfully. Here, Rome's pastime. Diurnal austerity preach. nocturnal vice indulged. Familiar? Elite, publicly enforced conduct. Augustus initiated ethical overhaul. Marriage, childbearing, promotion. Reviving perceived ancestral ethos. He proffered familial tax relief. Criminalized infidelity. Dignified household image advance. Meanwhile, vapor houses boomed, scrawls burgeoned, flames hummed insinuation. Duplicity unsubtle, rehearsed. Rome professions double standard built. Synedi, effeminate receptive role males. Flamboyant dancers, farceurs, entertainers. Mocked, yet engaged, applauded. Occasionally admired for audacity. None desired Sunsonitas. Senators paid dearly dinner laughs. Roman vapor house entry. Steamy, class-mingled social nexus. Reveal morality discourse absent changing areas. Inscriptions on attractiveness. Deeds, partners, bench wall artistic flourishes. Pompeian vapor house scrawl. Lucius Felix here. Fine time. Concise, sweet, non-hexametric Latin. Great exile versifier Ovid. Risque ars amatoria. Tension captured. He tutored Roman youth seduction art. GameSpot targets flatter, flirt, fib charmingly. Mask intention world. Morality garb. Pleasure open covert. Society virtue demands. Sly vice rewards. Laugh. Role play. Warning sign wink etch. Rome performance master. Even Lex Scantinia rarely applied. Signals over justice tools, like contemporary office edicts Friday ignored. Recall Cato Elder? Crusty senator. Decay ramp perennial. Austere virtue claim. Year cloak. Plain fare. Yet rumored gladiator spectacle. Vulgardium. Sneak attends. Rome. Impropriety seems shameful. Private. Less. Scandal entertainment boundaries. Razor thin. Same act one man disgrace. Another hilarity. Framing dependent. Indigent compromising caught. Disgrace. Emperor flare executed. Eccentric. Hence Rome's queerness. Apt term. Eludes fixation. Not leaning. Scarce desire. Performance context. Post-tail narrative. You muse populace deep thoughts. Not versifiers, senators, but bakers, troops, oil vendors, girls. Neighbor male for all betting? Cared? Actor beautiful voice, soft eyes whisper? Or shrug, labor resume? Rome too vast, occupied for uniformity. Rules flex, snap by identity. Stance, hour. Thrall holding, patriarchic, martial structure render rigid ethics essential, impossible. Surface scratch, inconsistency. Deeper dig, jests. Further, voices marble scroll unpreserved, bath grout etched, half-truths, confessions, love mockery disguised. Rome virtue preached, vice practiced, chastity temples built, erotic enigmas beside chiseled, public scandal punished, private well remunerated, profoundly mortal. You stray city core, barracks, mews, villa kitchens, sweat status outweighing locales. Here, affection interrogation alters you. Ownership dominated. Rome thrall society, not marginalia. Bedrock. Bond servants not mere toil. Property, legally non-person. Autonomous less, concentriteless. Citizen thrall desire, gender respective, unscandalous. Routine, ownership extension, to a use akin. Hammer permission unqueried. Thrall's pyramid base. Sexual interplay unjeopardized free man. Repute if hierarchy clear. Dominant citizen thrall. Man-boy, Roman foreigner. Reversal? Not morality issue. Hierarchy. Households oft-treated youthful male thralls personal amusement array. Train, dance, chant, recite, intimate acts. Manuals appearance management tips. Not paramours. Accoutrements. Picture Roman legionary, distant province posted. Prolonged marches. Spouses absent. Fireboard camaraderie. 10 events not always contained. Army hypermasculine, command structure, yet unofficial intimacy riddled. Army unencouraged same-sex, unsystematically eradicated, undisrupted discipline. Queries minimal, yet receptive soldier, narrative alters. Act on problem, role, conquer allowable, conquered not. Logic war prisoners extended. City conquest, gold unlooted solely. Persons too. Male captive sexual humiliation dominance form. Not attraction, visible power. Conquered forms, shattered honor. Rome ownership reminder. You query, genuine fondness survivable thus? Perhaps. Roman lore tenderness fragments, loyal thrall mentions, enduring attachment, bravado soft phrases, if affection burgeon, shadows required, citizen thrall fondness admission frailty, sentiment worth, inferior control wrist, lexicon hierarchy betrayed, brawl on boyfriend, possession, delicia delight, fine vintage, witty foul akin, displayed, circulated, replaced, yet nature obstinate, bonds formed, owners free, beloved thralls, others willed them, few wedded, rare brow raising, emotion system cracks leak, system uncease who feel allowance, who mere utilize reinforcement, contrast contemporary hierarchy discourses, celebrity power, higher status initiate low relation, consent pressure queries, Rome unqueried, assumed, unsettling revisit, yet Roman eroticism machinery unveils. Less gender, more rank, less affection, more sway. Power held, terms defined. Unheld, form resource, weak, vintage, stone akin. Even Roman wedlock akin patterns. Husband's extramarital pleasure, male inclusive, upstanding view. Wives' fidelity, invisibility, progeny utility expected. Non-compliance, swift, harsh retribution. Control sacred. Disruption unforgivable. Today's power protects, status shields, powerless voice struggles, echoes audible. Rome inequality uninvented. Marble sculpted, civilization dubbed. Thus, Roman Baroque shadow. Ruined thrall marked standards. Recall not all affection whisper sinister. Encircling system was. If love dared despite Rome, not because you return scroll statue myths. Whispers on Latin. Hellenic. Beneath Roman order fixation. Law. Stratification. Athens hum backdrop. Rome admired Greece art, lore, verse. Male-male Hellenic embrace. Complicated. Classic Athens. Elder youth ties untolerated. Idealized. Educational. Emotive. Spiritual mentorship affection rap. Roman view. Oversoft. Sentimental. Democratic. Equal. Rome unminded beauty. Verse. Minded blur. Hellenic pederastia. Dreamy odes. Mutual bonds threaten Roman who lead, who yield rigidity. Hierarchy sacred, even yearning, charge required. Yet Hellenic inescapable. Late Republic. Affluent Roman use Hellenic tutored. Text read. Sappho Plato dinner quoted. Homes Hellenic nude male sculptures filled. Hellenic love aesthetic omnipresent. Romans art sans intimacy. Beauty sans vulnerability craved. Cicero, orator, Roman self-importance inventor. Hellenic thought admired, affections unstomached. Hellenic male writings. Cicero slippery floor tiptoed. Philosophy prized, sentiment shamed, foreign, perilous. Or Seneca, stoic sage. Effeminate is sworn, uneffeminate modern. Pleasure over influence akin. Roman thinkers like him. Greek boy emotional tie mannered poor threatened. Act unfrightened, feeling. Roman selective borrowed. Statues, gymnasia, scrolls took, Roman rules rap, elder youth tie possible, temporary requiring, inferior class involvement, emotive one-sided, mutual love declarations absent, solos no, just distant admiration, close control. Yet Hellenic love tales Roman life seeks. Versifiers Horace, Tibullus softer connection hinted verses, longing lost fleeting, identity declarations not marble cracks, emotional hum satire beneath, even Roman satire, mockery, ridicule, brutal genre, Hellenic allure unescaped, juvenile, career rose 2 lines, male love melancholy occasional stumble, as of corruption decline, complaints deep, Greek affection ease, envy, education, Hellenic tutors, thralls freed, Roman lads grammar rhetoric taught, poetry melody, heroic male love tales, Achilles Patroclus, Alexander Hephaestion, unshameful presented, aspirational till Roman adulthood dominance expectations, equality dreams displayed, you muse boy impact, Homer Plato beauty friendship love admired tutelage, then real Roman men unfeel informed, conquer, command, sentiment season tunic discard, lexicon discomfort betrayed, Romans native homosexuality term absent, Greeks philia eros spoke, behavior descriptive words. Syneti, pathosai, exolitis, shame, femininity, excess loaded. Heart labeled not, role labeled. Cultural unease, admiration rejection, tug of war unresolved. Rome cultured felt crave unto Hellenic. Desire realm tension starkest. Modern society's free borrow scorn cultures akin. Politician poet quote, on dinner invite. Institution brochure diversity promote, meeting arrival panic. Rome Hellenic polished sans softness. Elegant sans empathy, you'd sans love craved. Yet resistance despite. Hellenic spirit slipped. Poems, statues, public wall quiet longing, curving delicate letters. Empire's memory, longing, affection recall human urge uncontrolled, even suspiciously Hellenic someone. You traversed marble corridors, vapor murmurs, military pavilions. Now, Roman annals shadows peer, women lingering, scarcely visible, scarcely inscribed, scarcely vocal permitted. If Rome male same-sex conduct rules strict, female-female framework near absent. Silence volume speaks. Clarify. Roman males endlessly other males form. Acts, reputations wrote. Women love. Scroll suspiciously you. Not non-occurrent. But language law narrative male controllers unwords, uninterest described. Glimmers few. Lore occasionally tributes, Hellenic borrowed. Used, masculine role assuming women, sexually aggressive deemed. Descriptions cartoonish, mocking male versifiers like martial juvenile. Women love unexplored. Expense jests. Martial bitter verse. Female lovers preferring woman unnatural sneered. Juvenile further. Women wrestling. Gladiator head shaving. Men women abandoned ranting. Uncareful depictions. Warnings. Tone uniform. Dangerous. Improper Roman wives behaving. Unsubmissive. Background unstained. Male desire solely unexisting. Real threat. Such women's lives? Harder response. Most Roman women public expression space ungiven. Feelings openly unwritable. Did preservation whose? Female voices libraries unbuilt. Surviving glimpses. Sappho fragments Greek East adored. Pompeii wall names. Rare joint burials affection deep inscriptions. Sisters? Friends? More? Ambiguity deafening. Perhaps survival ambiguity. Women love unspoken spaces live. Shared chambers, lingering looks, loyalty outlasting spouses, realms. Then men clothing women, male-coded role society taking. Rome modern transgender term absent. Gender nonconformity panic had. Armor-wearing women. Chosen lovers taking male-powered tools, swords, scrolls, coin, using deeply unsettling views. Bassa figure, Roman verse mock. Strap on other women sleeping. Medical unobservation. Humiliation accusation, man-like daring. Insult buried reality in. Women love ways found. Oppression power imitating even. Rome soul non-place. Greek antecedent. Lesbo Sappho lyrical emotive women address verse. Roman peak centuries pre-living. Reputation lingered, romanticized, misunderstood all. Roman Sappho legacy inherited, vulgar twisted, named Sapphic root, voice male reinterpretation mostly drowned. Preserved poetry fact suggests Rome someone valued. Secret reading woman, beauty despite man, scribe knowing conquest unlike all love not. Law even, female same-sex conduct differently treated. Lesbian ties banning codes absent, male same-sex roles banning way. Partly act unthreatening warranting unlawmaking. Or accurately, women's agency unacknowledged. Men outside desire unimagined. Invisibility prison kind. Males, queer conduct mockery scandal risk. Women, complete erasure off. Yet erasure untold. Modern digs, clues find. Figurine joint burials, private missives. Each Rome unwanted allowed whisper. Love laws unallowed complicated, always more. Thus, empire memory quiet linger. Query. Story unwritten survives what? Remembered who? Edited who out? Rome queer women. Answer unmarbled. Spaces between time carried secrets. Name dare undare love existing. You enter crumbling epic of Roman realm. Marble fades. Sovereigns omen like come go. Colder, stricter, anxious element laws creep. Vapor houses laughter echo. Scrawls dirty jest. Tone alters. Rome swagger to suspicion shifts. Tension. Desire whisper crime language hardens. Unsudden. No blanket ban law. Homosexuality single unseen. But late empire. 3rd, 4th century CE. Shame satire status regulated once. Legal structures now coded. Boudoir unpersonal. State belonging. Lex Scantinia centuries around. Vague untalked law. Freeborn boys same-sex acts punishing technically. Language elastic. Enforcement uneven. Most Rome history. Political clubs smearing enemies, overprotection. But empire internal instability. New moral voices pressure felt, cudgel heavier. Christianity fringe cult, candle home, praying unlonger. Early 300 CE. Imperial stair climbing begun. Traditional Roman morality roles reputation mostly Christian doctrine sin language spoke. Dominant passive uncared. Divine order against acting cared. Shift unimmediate. Constantine Great. 313 CE Christianity legalizing sovereign. Sexual conduct unparticularly concerned. Reign traditional Roman. Vices new theological robe wrapped full. Successors under. Tone sharpened. Theodosius I. Late 4th century ruler different. 390 CE. Male ties shameful and merely. Capital crimes treated. Theodosius co-sovereign Valentinian law. Other men public ceremony marrying men burned alive. Unwhispered, unpoem gested, burned. Mind wrap. Empire Nero Sporus wedding once laughed. Similar now execution prescribed. Masks off. Rome mocking unjust. Hunting. Legal ferocity unrandom. Social control, moral purification. Religious uniformity brought or pushed alongside. Pagan shrines shuttered. Old rites illegal declared. New Christian heads holy looking, proper behaving. Earlier centuries flexibility erasing Rome craved. Poetry gossip policed one sexuality. Cross shadow now. Yet Rome puritanical fortress. Imagine some unfully became. Late empire even. Desire unvanished. Bricks hearts carved. Secret rites occurred. Soldiers' dark stories told. Law's actions punished him. Longing unfully controlled. Longing ivy-like. Cracks through fines. Thick as stone even. Fear real. Favorite delicious once joked man words. Watch now. Male lover quietly favored one senator lover hidden or dismissed now might. Public life moral conformity demanded. Vapor murals faded. Scrawls unfunny. Or visible unstoppably. Christianity shift cause? Yes, no. Christianity narrative reframed certainly. Rome once shameful, power order reverse it said. Church shameful, God offense that began. But Christianity vacuum unarrived. Roman values absorbed, even rewrote. Masculinity obsession, control fixation. Softness fear unknew. Church different garb gave. Hadrian grief, Nero pageantry. Nameless boys' names unknown again thought. Colder judgmental Rome. They survived how? Could, yet shift during. Resistance cracks. Christian thinkers Augustine human desire complexity acknowledged, even restraint preached. Others John Chrysostom fire brimstone more. Male ties deeply sinful condemning. All shouting through. Human heartbeat quietly. Dangerously. Stubbornly. Haunting. Graffiti heresy become once. Laughter causing kiss death cause now might. Rome cruelty contradictions all. Elasticity certain allowed once. Love unheld. Flexibility held system. Now, doctrine hardening system. Late empire shadows outstep. Door closing field. Unalway unforever. Enough just new silence settles. Old Roman kind unfold jokes, side eyes whispered rumors not. But heavier kind hears silence. Ink burns laws silence. You dustier halls wander now. Torch unlit, gossip unwarmed, century silence cooled. Time slippery partware. Marble crumbles, modernized, cracked fresco, half-burned scrolls. Do squint try. Rome unwanted plainly say hope. Because ancient Rome homosexuality, untold history, unends Rome. Unends misreadings, misquotes we carry still. Honest be, modern fancy Roman sexuality, both obsessed baffled. Hollywood liberties taken. Museum statues displayed chosen store private rooms with. Academic spirals arguments, exact love, meant man bronze perfect use sculpted. Process, real messy contradictory truth, cleaner narratives replaced. Easier to digest, feel even unfully honest not. Example take, Rome gave paradise idea. Think pieces, documentaries, echoing voiceovers casually thrown, probably heard. Appealing idea, later centuries repression contrast especially. Wrong. Utopia acceptance unRome. Control machine. Same-sex ties existed, yes. Affection unjudged. Hierarchy roles appearances on. Men sleeping praise could loving punish. Enjoying too much looking exiled for. Paradise unnap. Politics that. Opposite myth. Rome decline Mordecai cause. Particularly sexual deviance. Argument pops now then. Moralists peddled usually vague historical sources cite. Wars, plagues, invasions, economic collapse, all ignore actually fall something to do. Same-sex yearning empire collapse, blame one histories. Complex, most unjust, inaccurate, lazy. Conveniently vast Roman life spectrum erases neat cautionary tale favor. Now wonder why? Ancient ash rake, why these half-told stories dig? Because past talk shapes present live how. History distort. Emperors' caricatures turn or powerless lives erase. Accuracy unmoves just humanity. Antonists think, youthful beauty frozen dozen statues across. Many the aesthetic just curly-haired stone god. But statues behind boy love, mourn, eternal something transformed because Rome category unhad what meant. Tension lingers still. Or spores think, bride dress streets paraded. Story off Roman history's joke treated. Absurd something, but him imagine. Teenager being castrated. Renamed power pageant forced unasked. Theater unjust. Tragedy that. Modern interpretations figures reclaim tried. Icons sometimes turn, projecting onto Rome unsaid things. Understandable. History mirrors all search. But mirror cracks sometimes. Rather unsee things reflects sometimes. Word homosexuality itself Rome unexisted. Identity language now gay by queer there simply. Romans axe roles reputation talk. Emotional language, psychological language, legal form unhad. Roman text 21st century lens reading poetry calculator translating like. Numbers get. Meaning unget. Still, echoes remain society today masculinity debates way. Powerful men vulnerable react how. Double standard applied, who desire whom consequence without. Rome fall in May, cast shadows stretch long still. Perhaps final irony. Rome desire expression control, hard-tried laws through. Satire through, shame through, but desire empires unobeys. Private letters flickers, scratch scrawls, statue cheeks blush. Silence survives, adapts, resists, laws rewrite can. Behavior punished, can people stop feeling unmake? Thus, ancient Rome homosexuality, untold history taught, when complexity restoring really doing. Stories edges dust brushed, never categories neatly fit. Remembering Rome one voice unwas. Thousand voices, many silence, ruins beneath humming still. Pass out step finally, Colosseum dust shaking, hum peace carry maybe. Slogan unknot, myth unknot. Deeper sense history like desire never simple, never polite, never seems far as away. Thus now seen. Marble beneath, amidst military pride. Rome own contradictions tangled. Love unlabeled, roles watched. Desire closed doors, dance status power silent shame rap. God statues built while human softest truths erased. But whispers remain poems, ruins, unmet leave behind everything. Thus tells, surprise most what? Cruelty, hypocrisy, lines between quiet courage, thoughts share below. Stayed with no love, you descend tight helical steps. Boots resounding against chill, irregular rock. Atmosphere noticeably chills per descent. On medieval cooling miracle knot, because castle cold trap built. Thick stone barriers, sometimes over 6 feet thick. Unjust arrows stop oppressed field tax season shore. Unrefrigerators there. Passive building, mossy fridge unhung. Unleaks, heat wave strike ungoes. Unfancy, unsleek handle pull. Instead, low arch duck step into cave pantry cross fields. Stone carved ledges root vegetables baskets. Salted meat slabs. Cheese wheels rind ceramic hard hold. Yet, everything lasts longer thought used. Why? Medieval builders, new on weather, thermal mass magic understood. Stone night cool absorbs day heat resists. Freon freezer compartments absent. Earth physics patience relied. Patience speaking, navigate smells need. Unneighbors herb-scented walk-in larder pin arrest labels. Living, breathing, fermenting turnips. Dusty apples. Corner barrel, vaguely sour, uninvestigate, closely want ecosystem. But work. Single ice cube absence even. Medieval kitchen dozens retainers, guest nights. Suspiciously large pockets, wandering monk occasional feed enough edible kept. Castle layout preservation plan part. Kitchens nor structure side build often. Shaded darker baking sun less exposed. Window slits tiny angled unjust arrows outkeep, heat outkeep. Some pantries halfway underground, perfect chill soil wave ride place. Weather apps unneeded. Sun direction castle builder understood, just needed. Winter jackpot. Everything fresh longer stays. But summer trickier. Preservation techniques heavy reliance then. Storage rotating. Deep cool interior rooms brave kitchen boy dusk after dare tread only where. Rats ghosts just general potatoes plotting feelings. Because separate cold room build unwhy not walk-in fridge parts without light. Well did. Some castles dedicated butteries larders had. Poetic sounding unjust words. Perishable store. Designed actual rooms. Kitchen adjacent offerings. Cool stay enough separated. Buttery ale wine barrels hold alcohol, another clever preservative, while larder meet dairy focused. Edward I king like royal households, larders meticulously managed clerks, sole job butter baking supplies monitor. Resume that put imagine. Carrots drawer wrapped crates packed in spec band. Sand layered unseasoning for, insulation for. Sand moisture draws rot discourages. Precious another week too before slimy something giving. Layer system. Stone, straw, sand, cloth, darkness. Harmony working illusion. Preserve decaying slow motion food. Home fridge backlaugh, thinking blinking lights, beeping doors, mysterious. Tupperware 3 weeks, ignoring one. But deep know these people tech no still winter eat manage. Primitive that. Strategic that. Week survive stone pantry nothing. But no electricity spoilage, sharp noser. Honest bee. Cautious steps few take kitchen underbelly deeper. Low doorway, thick wooden lintel, barely tall, stoop be noticed then. Behind, air sharpened, colder still. Underground cellar discovered just medieval natural refrigeration, masterstroke. Fans buzzing unknown. Earth darkness, quiet work doing. Cellar ground dug straight. Kitchen service wings beneath often. Walls stone lined. Floor compacted dirt. Ceiling crypt arches like way a food crypt kind it is. Baskets, vegetables, rest. Some soil birth, very cake still. Laziness, that dirt. Deliberate second skin acts. Dehydration, decay slowing. Turnips, parsnips, months sit here. Mummified practically. Corner large barrels, ale cider wall line. Cool temperature comfort, unjust for. Critical. Heat yeast differently behaves. Bishop uninvited shows up spoiled drink cellar. Full one thing castle can't afford of theirs. Closer look. Shadowed alcove tucked cove. Surprising even more something fine. Pitch. Deep stone line, well water unfilled, but sawdust chunks weight ice that is, rather it was ice pits these. Medieval long-term cooling hack. Smart labor intensive as. Winter lakes ponds froze when servants ice blocks massive cut. Saw sometimes brute force sometimes, castle backhaul. Straw wrap sawdust door. Ice weeks months even last could, well insulated. Luxury unit. Survival it. Melting instantly store ice scoff on before. 1800s American wealthy households, ice houses use perishable summer cool, keep considered even. Difference castles, railroads, unhad. Raw hands, donkeys, sheer tenacity had. Ambitious most castles dedicated ice houses built even. Separate dome, partially underground structures, winter's frozen treasure for its solely design. England castles like Kenilworth Hampton Court, once banquets ice, kept desserts honey fruit chilled, or status bit, strategy bit, because midsummer cold drinks offer Lord could. Serious means man that was. Main cellar space ducked back, where hanging meets overhead beams sway gently. Creepy little sure, slow motion meet mobile kind like, but perfect sense makes. Cooler air low settles. Food high hang if pests rot drafts away its. Pooling juices avoid. Also, mold unpleasantries, other surefire invitation, which are gravity, sous chef your turns out, sans forget unless. Medieval people smell quality check, masters use. Expiration dates, no stickers, best before end time, say the good gut feeling just. Cellar storage on more than became. Ritual became. Cooked daily, checked it. Steward tracked, aging out what was. Servants' goods rotated cooler zones, slightly warmer spaces between. Constant shell game decay delay playing. Modern walk-in fridges uniformity hung. But medieval cellars these breathed. Microclimates had. Shady left corner outer wall near 5 degrees. Coolest stay, might steps near arch then. Cellar learned livestock like you. Undeniable 50 people feeding in joy gruel. Because cheese curdled unexpectedly. Funny something no? Cellars these oldest food storage techniques. Some today still used. Wine underground caves kept think. Root vegetable sandboxes. Trendy cold larder modern architecture. Idea, even dark chili rooms these call back all thermostat single without. Next defrosting freezer complain time. Cart ice blocks haul breath fogs, knuckles cold, split open imagine, or worse, pit bottom check guide charge being nothing fur with moving prey. Boots crunch, slightly cellar leave step, small adjoining room where air dryer saltier. Scent first hits, brine aged flesh pungent wave eyes sting linger, is strong enough. Salting room this, smell survival like. Salt medieval castle, unjust seasoning for. MVP preservation. Precious, sometimes imported, always tightly controlled, resource salt medieval spell superstition. No guarantee, but what does? Rotting stops food. Decay descents slow, at least long enough someone eat first. Or slaughtered, pig picked to this. Freshly butchered, thick wooden table laid across. Refrigeration, no vacuum sealing, no plastic wrap, no. Nature reclaiming prize defense, only salt layer upon layer, every crevice rubbed into. Repetition rough hands. Me into smeared deep pressing moisture draw. Because moisture bacterial paradise there's where. Steaks salting grilling before ever have? Now imagine doing that 6 weeks in tyrannical state. But the kitchen staff sorry feel might barrels over bent pouring salt fashion, outgoing like. But busy work on this wasn't. Science pre-science fancy names before. Salt flesh water pools doing so microbes hostile place makes it. Waterless, spoilage less. Simple brilliant as that. Castle salt mines nearby, always unhad though. Many places salt imported carted coastal evaporation beds, or salt-rich regions traded like Bayonne, Lunenburg famous Cheshire salt works from. Expensive made it. Fact pay you sometimes in. Salary word root salarium Roman term salt allowance from comes. Dinner currency minerals massaging literally unjust food rubbing you or means. Larger castles dedicated salting rooms, troughs, barrels, draining racks had. Fish holes split flat in salt pats, then flat laid or barrels curled into. Beef joints stacked pale oversized bricks like. White crystals buried each layer. Everything rotated flip checked had to. Miss spot single disaster mean could. Disaster by. Meat spoiled room full stench, soul clings kinda. Perfect system on this wasn't. Preserved food salt drawbacks. Had its. Tough chewy, sometimes salty, so water soaked. Needed eating before water spare had. But safe it was safety flavored beef. When alternative breakfast before household half take could poisoning food. Food hierarchy here showed itself. Lords guessed freshest cuts, lightly salted sides, delicate portions got. Servants a boot leather texture had long salt buried beef to God. Hay alive kept them it. Day stomach to people how wonder might. But remember flavor later came. Priority shelf life was. Rations needed siege snow supply delays through last two. Kitchen roasting hairs pies baking place unjust for. Preservation strategy fortress long-term plan chew on. Literally. Comforting oddly something theirs. Medicine modern, no refrigeration, no delivery apps, no world with salt control tiny bit gave you. Seasoning safeguard both. Feast, famine, difference, meat, maggots between butter, toast, smear, pickle, bite next time. Remember unreinventing will just turning your. Eyes rub, exit smoky chamber still. Sting rubbing only to hit sharp vinegary tang. Nostrils straight punches skull back near settle something. Pickling brining zone welcome. Vegetables drown survival taste sour little wear. Pickling medieval castle kitchen quirky flavor choice unjust a full-on food preservation religion it was. Jar crock barrel fit could if someone somewhere submission pickle trying probably into. Cucumbers, course onions. Absolutely. Eggs. Believe better you did. Fruits certain even plum crab apples vinegar and preserved depending region what in. Winter looking desperate how on. Decorative unpickling wasn't. Tactical it was. Vinegar cousin salt brine acidic environments created bacteria. Most found sermon gluttony feast during unwelcoming as. Submerge once. Months years even keep your food. Jars seal stayed mice outstayed provided. Long shelf stacked ceramic pots wax tie cloth sealed. Lid lift might find shredded cabbage sauerkraut turned garlic cloves wine vinegar. Suspended or wrinkled apple 3-day old peasant bread better somehow taste still. Options endless. Appetizing always not if. Fun part here's. Flavor goal on longevity was. Instagram charcuterie board artisan pickles. Making you weren't. March chew crunchy something left sure. Making you were. Yes, some mouth-puckering borderline. But 6 weeks straight mutton smoked gnawing been you when holiday feels vinegar, sharp onion sliced even. Harvest reserve allowed pickling also. Autumn turnips, beans, mountain dump doorstep. When pile leave unjust hope vessel couldn't. Act fast had to. Wash, chop, salt, submerge, repeat. Quickly move, tightly sealed if month side dishes you'd have. Not if well mold personalities evolve fast. How outfind you? Vegetables unexclusive method this wasn't. Brining clothes cousin commonly meats used especially fish for. Saltwater barrels herring whole layered. Shelf-stable tuna medieval version into turning. Glamorous on it wasn't. Efficient it was. Heavily salted smoked meat unlike. Brined items tenderness bit retain could. Important 30 age by ruin halfway already teeth when. Teeth speaking yes acidic food rough them on canoe they. Then regret backseat took dying hunger not to. Pickled brine foods fat salt char. Dominated meals brightness added. Good day and might even enjoy you. Curious guest points some asked pickling East trade influenced it. After all vinegar, Islamic world, classical Roman traditions, contact through Europe way made. But imports without even fermentation, acid-based preservation common knowledge. Across cultures, nearly all locally available would adapted just. Viking age, Scandinavia, Moorish Spain. The soaking food, uninviting something art oddly universal. Stoneware jars, crocks, appreciate moment take two. Thick, heavy, often handmade. Tupperware, medieval equivalent these vessels. Stain, undin, mysteriously lids lose. Some carved seals family crests have belonging who indicating. Yes, 50 servants castle with even. Communal pickle jar, open nobody, wanted beat last eaten someone else found. Store-bought olive jar, lid twist every time. Vinegar-based paranoia, 1,000 years echoing yours. Smell fine will it? Weirdly fizz it? Regret you will this? Medieval cooks ask same questions. Label cartoon mascot, minus the cool ceramic jar edge hand run depth preserved carrots peer into. Swimming something looks slightly alive. Now eat unwant may you. But February where the snow feels buried if August Jared person feet kiss you. Vinegar sharp sting leave only to greeted mellow, slightly sour, milk gone right aroma. Dairy alchemy castles where it happens. Perishables persuaded, cajoled, occasionally bullied, becoming cheese, butter, fermented friends. 3 days later betray, unwont into. Cow go from fresh milk time bombed. Outleave too long separate sour curdles. Eventually stares judgment back you with. But medieval cooks wasted on it. Transformed day. Refrigeration exists unwhen. Thing nature changed only option entirely. Large wooden tubs pair spot, where milk stirred slow, almost meditative rhythm. Rented bit perhaps yesterday's batch starter old some. Soon milk split begins. Solid curds liquid wave from separating. Cheese toward first step made just you. Congratulations. Medieval cheesemaker now you're. Metals no expect. Snack, uncheese more than was. Calories, nutrients, fat storeway, portable stable format. Soft curds painter like fresh cheeses quickly eaten. Day same sometimes. But aged cheeses journey sieges months damn stored survive the complaint without. Some smoke, some salt ash rub. Some hard enough careful unweren't if tooth shatter. Everywhere they were. Tom French made. Cheddar English crafted. Swiss will beginning holes things dream. For just they were. Point every region climate animals' patience. Local monks how shaped dairy traditions it's had. Point is monasteries cheese-making hubs were. Manuscripts illuminated same monks curd stir techniques perfected centuries. Carry what on one will time at. Quiet cloisters prayer unjust for weren't. Protein factories, silently kingdoms, fueling one will time at. But cheese story half only. Butter mattered just as much if not more. Squat churn half full glance, oversee wooden paddle weary angles sticking out. Someone clearly this a while it been has. Churning lazy unfor wasn't. Rhythm force willingness splash repeatedly buttermilk with yourself. Still butter perks had it. Milk unlike longer kept it. Stone crocks tightly packed cool pantry stored when weeks months even last could. Salt covered brine submerged if longer even. Summer underground buried. Sometimes richer households butter there much like treasure. Way it was butter cooking, spreading pans greasing. For use skin dry treating for and really fancy if you herbs at even might. Garlic butter toast medieval version, unfar-fetched, all that wasn't. Then fermented dairy came. Yogurt, sour milks, clabbered creams, the niche health foods on these weren't. Kitchen necessities they were. Sour milk, throw unused, something made it of. Cook's bread, sauces, soups, even added it. Tang richness added food safety enough. Just digestive adventures, unplanned odds reduced to. Sometimes preservation magic combinations happen. Cheese, fat wax sealed. Butter brine berries. Yogurt leather bags hearth, near hanging ferment left to. Had what used you. Nothing had unwend, improvised you. Wales Castle, one reportedly warm month's tree trunk, hollowed milk stored. Sure, why not? Because. All sounds oddly familiar of this. Because techniques these never way went many. Just cleaned up them, French named, fancy packaging gave. But core idea remains can't keep milk fresh if evolved make it. Smell tells sometimes worked it. Other times run tells you to it. High shelf wheel cheese resting eye. Aging months, maybe more Bennett's. Hard rind mottled spots, scent feet forest like. Still good it? Courage level depends, dental coverage your and. Still marvel at it. Ours spoils milk world where people these resilient versatile, occasionally edible something into turn learn how months. Control couldn't time. Work, make it for them could. One churn, one curd, one stubborn wheel time at. Next space shuffle into half expecting vinegar splash, another questionable cheese wheel, or, but instead cooler corner find where earth jars, heavy wooden shelves, silent sentinels like lime. Glazed surfaces, wax cloth, thick lids, mouth sealed. Inside them raw on isn't. Cooked, already cooked last to. Potted meats, fat sealed preservation, domain this. Medieval kitchens, clever tricks most won. Food take usually meat, though vegetables fish sometimes. Thoroughly cook, then render fat thick blanket under smother it. Unappetizing sounds. Sure, waxy science experiment it looks like. Probably. But snow piled high, nothing fresh dared grow when starving can keep undid it? Absolutely. Worked how here. Thoroughly done completely until stew or roast meat the pink centers no medium rare no. Feelings outlive meant foodless. Cooked meat, once pot jar into layer. Melted fat usually lard tallow pour top over the. Fat cools hardens airtight lid into as. Seal this moisture oxygen bacteria. Out keeps food beneath locking delicious time capsule like. French rillets eaten ever if recognized technique use. British potted beef or difference medieval castle. A gourmet appetizer. This wasn't. Survival insurance it was. Worked it. Conditions right in weeks months. Even last could fat seal meat. Longer cool cellar kept buried sunlight away from it. Time over mellowed flavor. Softened texture fat itself reheated when richness added. Stews into warm scraped out bread spread. Or cold eaten simply if hunger squeamishness overruled. Wondering maybe fat seal accidentally broke someone. What? Well then good luck. With one usually everything tell with you. Medieval cooks bloodhounds noses developed. Spoilage faintest with detect train. Sharp sour note jarred compromise meant. Back then turned something eating upset stomach on more than. Death sentence could be it. Still brilliant technique A. Others were combined especially. First smoked some meats, then fat, under seal. Salted others, then potted. Layered methods, these food more insurance gave. Culinary double octane A. Preserve unjusted. Protected like treasure you. Honest be which lets it was. Alchemical, almost something. Roast meat, preserve block potential meals into turning. Waste product fat, some to as natural defense barrier using. Necessity-born kitchen ingenuity, not aesthetics. Pots, roast, spot, chalk label, goose, for venison air. Each story tells one. Perhaps feast leftover gusta, rare successful unprized venison egg. Visiting lord gifted likely bore the months preserved until safe serve offense indigestion without tooth. Nobody wanted noble guest poison, least not accidentally. Further took kitchen some even fat into herbs, spices, and bedding. Preservation unjust for, flavor added for. Thyme clove hints, carry my potted duck pot, a juniper musky undertone. Carry beef jarre, function flavor married way understand truly hungry only. Today leftovers refrigerate forget guilt wins, until then. But back then leftover second life had sometimes third even. Wasted nothing sealed cooled fat brown could if. Peanut butter jar coming unseen in modern comparison. Yep, top floats oil the passive seal that's nut paste beneath air keeping away. 1,000 years ago, someone rabbit stew pig grease, same doing was. One pot waxy top, across finger dipped gently. Solid how surprised by it. Candle wax like but heavier. Medieval refrigerator door, unopened had to. Just scoop heat. Repeat. Practical. Absolutely. Glamorous, uneven slightly. But rot breath one, always away, time aware. Castle Kitchen's quiet miracle to shelf on sat right there waiting patient seal stubbornly safe. Cold jars solidify fat. Leave wandering deeper storage rooms, maze into where everything quiet calculation hum seems. Next room different smells. Sharper, greener, old leaves, heavy books between crush light. Here preservation, subtler, almost invisible form takes. Herbs as smoke, clever storage hacks. Use cooks medieval not taste just for. Rot pest bay a keep to. Hanging hams boiling vats fat dramatic. Less unless important now. Bay leaf humble unjust stew for there. Grain sacks into tucket. Weevils keep helps away. Dried rosemary. Nice smell sure it. Natural oil contains insects certain repel also it. Seasoning unjust these weren't. Protection they were. Fragrant food supplies mowed around you. One side look bundles dried sage thyme marjoram. Withered floral arrangement like hanging spot. Kitchen decor on this isn't. Strategy it is. Medieval cooks pest control companies unhad. Airtight Tupperware weekly trash pickup unhad. Grain flour unattended left at buffet became rats, bugs, moisture mold for. Had what used they. Dried lavender linen bags masked deter smoke hard from drifting upward coat. Rafters beams thin insect repelling film with sacks anything else reach within. Even ashes scattered. Yes, cold fireplace ash root vegetables around sprinkled dry. Keep worms deter to. Modern kitchen inspector explain, try and imagine. Worry and don't carrots ash box, but we turnips clay coated. Hygienic, various. Still worked it. Beets carrots like root vegetables sand straw. Sawdust packed, often bruising protect drying out slow. Also, cushion not only them. Bugs discourage moisture loss slow. Also, apple straw wrapped cool larder corner. Store imagine carefully spaced none touched. So, because rot started one have spread gossip castle corridor like wood. Air circulation, wisdom even. Slatted shelves. Woven loosely baskets. Onions, garlic. Like crops braided hung air flowing keep around them too. Moisture, less mold less. Castles sterile unwarrant. Smart they were. Sometimes disguised protection came. One method eggs, lime water coating, or gelatinous substance shell porous seal to. Odd sound, but air out freshness, and kept sometimes months. Water glassing eggs heard ever, if that same technique modern descended. Wall near small clay pot paws eye. Powdered, dusted toppets. Dried mushrooms filled. Ingredient wild, perishable, delicate. So yet perfectly preserved here air patience miracle through. Fridge, no electricity, no. Just drying racks, cool shaded shelf. Then smoke again, lingering preservation, unjust from environmental shield as. Chimneys without kitchen, smoke billowed everywhere. Clung beams, rafters, sacks reach within anything else. Darkened with yes it. Bacteria kill bugs, repel things a little more inhospitable spoilage from made also it. Medieval world, rot smell think might you, but often earthy smelled herbal little acrewood smoke from little sharp onions outlived dignity therefrom. Food lasted chemicals treated on because not, tradition texture time-tested trickery guarded because, modern analogy want, grandmother's pantry think one closed mysterious jar, hence keep mint or fridge baking soda open box. Now 100 by multiply science degrees, subtract famine deep fear add. That's medieval kitchen ingenuity. Hanging sack pass wrestles slightly. Mice unknot. Dried apples string thin leathery forgotten bookmarks like. Beauty contests win on they won't. But fresh fruits long gone when stew Sweetendale. Sprays fridges foil and they didn't have. Or, but herbs ash sand smoke had. Vigilant centuries passed down knowledge had. Sometimes enough that entire household fed keep castle alive. Shadows ash herbs from a merged wide warm kitchen into bustling quiet intent with. Hearth crackles bread loaves, wooden racks cool. Cook knife sharpens rhythmic patience with. Castle kitchen daily rhythmless. Preservation action might not look like it. But food management frontline daily routines using ripest what before turns baking daily spoilage never-ending dance balancing. Today, unlike fridge pop thing, forget regret sets until them. Castle Cook's golden rule live by one use it or lose it. Battlefield strategy like every meal planning meant. Turning close meat, what? Soft grown roots, what? Musty got before grinding kneaded grain, what? Sentimentality time, no. Eating still could if dinner it was. Anchor bread was. Round loaves basket neatly stacked spot. Crust self-defense usually enough hard there. Truth much bread coarse mixed grain made from. Modern luxury fluffy white loaves unknot. But hearty stuffed bellies feel resist decay meant. Dense loaves, some sliced hollowed makeshift trenches, edible plate stews soaked up eaten, or discarded meal end at. Usually servants' dogs fire thrown into it, weapon more became food then. Bread daily baked indulgence, out of not necessity, but coarser grains with even stale, quickly with especially crowded kitchen heat in. Rhythm relentless was. Early ryes need bake repeat. Yeast temperamental commercial packets, 700 years. Another exists on wooden sinks. Sourdough starters relied passed down guarded fed culinary pets like. Starter kill might bribe someone to share theirs have to. Roast meanwhile timing mind always cooked with. Venison hunch hanging just a little too long. If evening stew become might cooked long heavily seasoned confident gnawed. Served kitchen frantic whispering ignored with. Wasted nothing wasting hunger later risking men. Earn keep had every food piece spoiled before it. Castle kitchen here shone months, preserving food unjust or not, ruthless efficiency with next cook what deciding in. Triage unglamorous it wasn't. Yesterday's bread tough to chew, if crumbs crust pie became. Dried, too much meat if broth soaked shredded. Soft going turnip if mash grated into. Over left nothing. Second life everything had. Fact many recipes bring uselessness food rescue, specifically evolved. Kitchen clerk quietly writing ledger past small space of running list. Used in what bad gone, what lingers still what. Chaos even order was. Bigger households, stewards, marshals, full pantry masters, track storage had. Show on for not survival for. Modern day comparison want. Restaurant chef walking coolers, end night, checking days next menu building needs go. First what base? That's Castle Cooks did electricity health inspections minus the day special whim creative unjust wasn't. Rabbit using decision. Watching die again different way or be success, sometimes freshness unin not. Ingredients age disguise well how and was. Clever sauce long braise, healthy helping herbs, spices, especially expensive ones, pepper, cinnamon, cloves, like sin's mask, older night eating them could. Yes, mistakes were. Food bad went. Sick people got sometimes terribly. But system worked often more than not precisely constant attention required it, because decay, fear frozen on kitchen wasn't. Eternal chess match locked it with. Often won it. Today's bread, yesterday's broth, tomorrow's hanging mutton hunch. Last look take one. Clearly see begin you. Salt, smoke, unpreservation. Just wasn't. Timing, awareness, judgment years, hunger, trial sharpened. Behind fell kitchen, if punishment spoiled meal, unjust wasn't. Supper without householder it was. Kitchen entrance back. Wander clothes on lingering hearth smoke smell. Memory into burned stored onions, swinging meat shadows. Strange something realized you. Refrigeration lacked despite electricity, basic hygiene, modern standards, by even starving on day one. Managing, thriving, even sometimes questionable cheese aching teeth, but surviving nonetheless. Medieval kitchens, food poisoning, one-way ticket, assumed easy. Yes, honest, be clean countertops, latex gloves, color-coded chopping boards, undid that we rely today. But knowledge had. Knowledge handed down textbooks, unflew not repetition, mistakes quiet triumphs through. Systems built knowledge that. Perfect, and they weren't of course. Sick people got. Bad meat belly called might what outbreaks were now know we salmonella botulism worse for. But Operation Whole Look, when salt from smoke, vinegar, fat, cellar rafters, to astounding how much zero refrigeration the food kept up, romanticized unto much left though. Time dental records reveal lot damage. Rotting teeth abscesses, enamel coarse bread, gritty flour worn down by. Brine beef chewing unperfect smiles with weren't they. Meals often repetitive, heavy winter, fresh nutrients lacking in. Scurvy sailors unjust for wasn't. Still system delivered calories. Preserved stores large households alive kept. Sometimes siege through, sometimes frost through, sometimes sheer stubbornness through. Emotional side, uneven talk haven't we? Yes, walk-in fridge benefit. Without even kitchens, he still care what people fed. Pot still stirred someone. Loaf still watched rise someone. Winter dead fire overstood someone spit on meat turning slowly, not sustenance, just for table pleasure for. Hard times even food joy still was. Moment kitchen own thing. Beeping microwave fridge condiments full freezer drawer ambition moment. Bought something since forgotten have you with. Now replace all muscle memory instinct smell trial error with picture. World that's castle cooks lived in. Second chances, no Uber Eats, no just potato sand hopes, salted boar lords, cousin murder unwooden you're with. Somehow worked it. Lime water eggs, coding ideal laugh, tempted might apple straw treasure stacking, or, but really quiet brilliance axe these were. Food preservation, separate job unwasn't. Thread ran everything through medieval kitchen end. Dinner unjust make you. Future preparing always were next week, next month, next winter for. Time travel kind preservation was. February, September's pears, eating you were. Snow roads buried while goose smoke, autumn's last chewing you were. Smart fridges overnight delivery, age are today, even echoes knowledge this remain. Pickle still we brine, still smoke, still cure, still sour still. Butter buried, trout hanging, fireplace, above unmight, not we anymore. But remembers us part some. Techniques desperate, unjust weren't early human adaptation, masterpieces they were. Last time around, look one. Cool cellar stone walls, jars, crocks, herbs, kitchen boys, ghost long gone. Realize on technology, lack they wasn't that. Time had they. Time plus salt bit lot smoke, brought terrifying nose dash vinegar, enough castle live keep was. Fridge beats next time milk 3 days early sours, or gnaw give people may work at nothing more stone instinct vinegar dash a with. Wooden door outside clanking pot, sound wake to you. Door called generous to it though. Uneven two boards, rust prayer held together more like it's air cold brisk unknown. Cold bones are lives, kind breath go smoke, like air curls of that. Blankets, itchy wool 2 layers, got if lucky your goat faintly smell that. Central heating no such thing here. Cozy majestic, assumed once thick stone walls, the disguise with refrigerators there. Above great hall, already creaking awake. Fireplace stoking sign. Somewhere else serving drops fragile, something 3 languages curse gets at in. Listening lie their castle breatheth. Alive own way in every creak, every shuffle scribe 2 floors down sneeze, even shout like echoes because stone absorbs on it doesn't. Ricochets privacy. West tower farts someone at east wing breakfast before knows it about. Sleeping chamber large unisn't unless important you are. On your not. Bed one have a stuffed straw your pillow, also straw different shape in, but collar scratch at linen again. Long clean never. Floor rushes, damp smells absorb suppose, but centuries ago gave up job that say let's just they bed edge legs swing avoiding chamber pot near suspicious puddler. Night during out went fire the now breath fogs again. Unholy something mumbled, even priest yesterday profanity about warn though you at least. Great hall rest unranked servants with sleep undidn't leash you. Oxen like snore they angry moles like cloaks tossing there. Tunic wool into fumble fast boots, leather thick, 2 pairs, corridor footsteps here, naturally you. Important someone, maybe Lord Steward. Quickly move belt yanking tight posture straight. Schedules unrun medieval castles don't. Hierarchy run they. Hire whoever's you, then exactly day your unfold going how tell gets to. Hallway outstep, immediately wish unhappy. Damp shoes, old cheese smells like something cabbage, might be hope isn't but you. Wall stone and slits narrow through light slants. Famous arrow loops the drawings romantic look miserable real life. In drafty dark, anything full view, getting useless unless crossbow aiming you. Passage along shuffle equally sleep deprived states, and others nodding to. Night marches past armor clinking, tool chest, dragging someone like downstairs. Rivet every polishing hours. Ben Squire's sorry field, can't you man sweat through it before midday just 4. Central staircase, reaching slowly descend 1, uneven stone step time at. Railings, no carpeting, no one slip tomorrow's gossip your aunt. Smoke smell thickens, lower go you. Kitchens near hearths, livestock pens to where real action is that. Castle where no matter rank your eventually nose lead through toward, or passes for what leads to. Half awake still, side alcoves, one into glance pages younger, couple already scrubbing rushes muttering complaints. Pause, look up at you at late you're, say it as if, late on you're not, but Ben strangely timed castles in. Rings bell when it rings, sometimes earliest, sometimes bell ringer oversleeps the. Shrug, keep walking. Chapel by pass, just prayers morning low chant catch you. Latin of course. Understand and you not it, but impressive sounds. Holy sounding castles, in half job years. Young monk candles lighting respectfully naughty you. Half frozen looks, half sane only and. Mumbling relics whine about even breakfast before like that most monks are. Outer corridor kitchens toward leads finally reach. Ceiling lowers here. Rougher stones. Cooler drafts. Path across rats go. Stop stairs place owns like then continues. Ran over food your last night. Whether think untry not you about. Pause here moment just reflect on not. But because kitchen boys slam door, open nose you it took nearly it. Step aside, eyes wide, heart thumping, wondering 100th time. Wide doors castles always swing divine judgment force with. Still up dress intact, heading heart castle. The where pots bubble bread bakes. 3 people already arguing, forgot soak lentils, who over. Kitchen quiet never is. Even sunrise before roars own medieval beast, like its flames snapping cauldrons, wooden spoons hitting ironclad voices, overlapping imaginable every accent in. Food gets made place on just the tempers get fried where gossip sizzle bacon and louder. If lucky enough bacon have you in castle's daily heartbeat begins pounding rhythm in 2. Low beam beneath duck hanging meat side, unidentifiable creature. Half-dried, half-salted, fully smelly, avoid time just in. Order barks cook a substance dough like deep elbow, whose size half someone at. Enter when up looks no one. Blended and long enough and you know how that. Kitchen and survival skill which is. Notice moment your task hand someone. Float longer unnoticed limbs, unscalded longer though. Heat face slaps first always. Fire going always there. Actually multiple ones. Main stewing pots for one, roasting spits for one. At least one nobody uses, but nobody dares put out soon needed if case in. Medieval logic. Question unlearned not to it. Every surface from curl, smoke, eyes, your mouth, your clothes, your soul you're in getting. Clean really never been used since arriving here. Corner, angrily bubbles, pot, a. Soup yesterday's cabbage today's met decided existential crisis. Have smells like it. Passes inside, squint you. Lentils maybe, definitely onions, possibly fish. Hopefully you'll not again. Name can if salt add, once said someone. Philosophy here seems be that. Shrug, keep walking. Chapel by pass, just prayers morning low chant catch you. Latin of course. Understand and you not it, but impressive sounds. Holy sounding castles in half job years. Young monk candles lighting respectfully naughty heat. Half frozen looks half sane only and. Mumbling relics whine about even breakfast before like that most monks are. Outer corridor kitchens toward leads finally reach. Ceiling lowers here. Rougher stones. Cruer drafts. Path across rat stove. Stop stairs place owns it like then continues. Ran over food your last night. Whether think untry not you about. Pause here moment just reflect on not. But because kitchen boys slam door, open nose you it took nearly. Step aside, eyes wide, heart thumping, wondering 100 times why doors castles always swing divine judgment forthwith. Still up dress intact, heading heart castle. To where pots bubble bread bakes, 3 people already arguing forgot soak lentils over. Kitchen quiet never is. Even sunrise before roars own medieval beast, like its flame snapping cauldrons, wooden spoons hitting ironclad voices, overlapping imaginable every accent in. Food gets made place on just the tempers get fried where gossip sizzles bacon and louder. If lucky enough bacon have youth and castle's daily heartbeat begins pounding rhythm into. Low beam beneath duck hanging meat side, unidentifiable creature. Half-dried, half-salted, fully smelly, avoid time just in. Order barks cook a substance dough like deep elbowed, whose size half someone at. Enter when up looks no one. Blended and long enough and you know how that. Kitchen and survival skills, which is notice moment your task hand someone. Float longer unnoticed limbs, unscalded longer though. Heat face slaps first always. Fire going always there. Actually multiple ones. Main stewing pots for one, roasting spits for one, at least one nobody uses, but nobody dares put out soon needed if case in. Medieval logic. Question unlearn not to it. Every surface from curls, smoke, eyes, your mouth, your clothes, your soul you're in getting. Clean really never been used since arriving here. Corner, angrily bubbles pot, a soup yesterday's cabbage today's met decided existential crisis, have smells like it. Passes inside, squint you. Lentils maybe, definitely onions, possibly fish. Hopefully you'll not again. Name can if salt add, once said someone. Philosophy here seems to be that. Siege warfare glamorous unism. Slow hungry lies full of it. Dice socks moment the sacred almost feel makes. Spiral stare up narrow design by right-handed defenders, favoring downward sword swinging. Lookout post arrive you. Face wind slaps moment step up to you. Land seeking directions, all in stretching. Hills rolling distance, thatched roofs spew village hearts smoke some. Peaceful looks, but remember something old soldier once told you. Loudest battlefield, calmest field makes the means what unsure not your, but stuck it. Back duck inside murder holes one in pause. Real name that ceiling and slit main gate above intruders on a down rocks hurling boiling oil pouring design for. Morbidly clever castle itself like every feature W's has. Choke point stairs, double windows, defense lines, double moat even. Pretty unjust. Death trap smells old fish failed escape attempts like it. Lower gatehouse near storage room. Salt barrels, peas dried, stacks arrows, bundle supplies. Siege begins unless touched undare. Them look wonder if used ever they'll be. Then remember stories the 13-16 winter standoff. During supplies ran out when. Leather belts boil broth, for people say they. Help much unknotted. Down further still dungeon reach. Hesitate you. Place your unnits knot. But guard nods past either boredom or cruelty out of. Air turns cold from heavy to. Lungs your clings, air kind breath, every question like fields. Mold rust unspoken something smells like it. Cell C iron bar stone on straw corner and bucket A. Lucky if most empty there, but not all. One into glance man curled corner in C. Do what he asked on you don't. Matter really on it doesn't. Down here just as flexible. Theft crime sometimes suspicion. Sometimes wrong hallway wrong hour being just sometimes it's. Quickly leave heart faster little ache knees until climb you. Keep within keep the great tower looms above. Defense last line first reinforced trouble brews when to be the stairs those climb less often you, but do when always wonder live constant readiness what like to. Sleep bed dagger under pillow rope ladder window by ready with, because walls breach someone of speech time unget won't you. Boots get lucky to be you on. Narrow corridor through past main hall back toward leaves. Warmth slowly returning. Lit again fire A. Music here faintly root tuning someone maybe. Strange, isn't it? Fortress stage, both we can place A. Arrows counting moment, one dance and steps, counting next to main hall return time by Transformers. Damp wool smoke smelled space same hours, just to go noise grime lower levels from now anticipation buzzes with. Walls along torches flicker flag stone overshadows lawn casting. Benches place into drag. Floor swept well swept-ish and tables lined trencher stale bread plates double bowls. Eventually dogs food or desperate to pour. Tonight entertainment, there's medieval castle. And anything almost mean could it. Hear before see it you. Rebeck twang flute squeak. Rehearsing someone thud occasional juggling routine badly. Hearth by lute is tuning minstrel. A squinting unforgettable become 2 minutes. Have no someone expression distinct that whim. Behind him servant rolls eyes. Songs guise as heard he before. Back near settle aisle, avoid careful high table leads the two. Lord trusted most to sit there where. Elevated socially literally both therefrom. Everyone see can they everyone see can end. Laugh where there even measured deliberate signal reaction, then more of. Room into somersaults, jester bells jangling, hat one eye overflopping. Monk goat broken wine cask, joke into launches straight A. Crass mildly heretical surprisingly well lands. Haul most with laugh along you. Smirk allows himself steward, even if others can't say job jesters until far too goes he at least. Whip being jesters heard you've ancestry wrong noble, insulting for or worse replace being. World this in replacement pension rarely what comes, and far side nights too, already ale, third round deep halfway arm wrestling match into there. Squires nearby stand watching nervous understudies like. One squire's eyes envy flicker notice you. Allowed unsay won't he but knows night become way only survive one or outlive one. Preferably both. Then bear comes. Chain on drag courtyard into bear a growling pacing handlers. By flanked hand losing one bad idea away look who. Show part bear baiting nobles board sport peasants cold boots forget want who. Like never use it. Crowd bear looks way dogs loose let one by one. Sport on its nod. Spectacle it's. Audience animal between lines thick people pretend as wonder you if. Later mood lifts. Actors traveling group morality play short performs in temptation turnip and demand about. Message what unsure not your but colorful costumes crowd clap success count as that. Dramatic gesture during sleeve fire sets nearly one actors the laughs off it. First time probably anata. Ale flows rowdier hall grows as. Nobles whisper closer lean secrets. Tomorrow regret they'll. Servants' corners, cautious dance beds are outshine, not to care for. Couples few bread, more getting guys under sneak away. Bread unfined won't they, but shadows find ale. Ears shadows of castles in, and bard love ballad sang story. Remember you certain noble, certain kitchen maid, a fair mirrored that. Double paid night, that mysteriously never hired again he was. Art danger places like this end. Truth excellent theater, terrible diplomacy makes bud. Hearth near apples juggles boy a 10 no more these but crowd adores him. Quick smile hands quicker his and brief moment brief. Even guard grumpiest scowls forgets to. Stable sleep boils suspected tonight. Dogs necks curled applause dreaming warm bread and of. Nearby someone mug raises. Hunt tomorrow to shouts. Cheers chorus follows on morning and remember probably unhalf them. Sport unhunts more than. Theater social there. Whom next arrives who, first shot takes who, Lord Wind lets who, politics, everything, even leather dress spear carrying when. Woman noble stands, singing begins. Voice clear, high noise, through cuts silk smoke through light. Quiet falls halder, shuffling stop, even hounds there. Him perhaps lullaby a one recognize on you, not, but chest feel nonetheless in. Notes linger, sits down she, after rafters trembling in. Claps no one. Breathe, drink, blink, spell from waking like just day, and lower burns fire eventually. Instruments pack minstrels, the thins haul the tables under places reclaim, dogs there. Rise slowly, you leg stiff head, buzzing ale un from not evening long one stuff life density sheer from. Over it says no one, and just that everything here does quietly then all at once. Embers still glowing hearth and step corridor into warm air chill always returns, giving way realty fades when that. Cloak tighter pull unjust not cold against, but through pass about to your what against. Corner corridor this next castle's this. Secret stew ware. Love here, rarely love is. Transaction strategy risk smells better lentil stew than, or often Moritz. Theory and noble marriages, alliances, about houses joining land consolidation there. Practice, awkward formalities, padded silences, unspoken resentment, polite nod, great hall, across occasional the wit. Supper at newlywed nobles, watch you bench expensive very strangers like side by side seated. Affairs hand, other alive, volatile, dangerous those are. Beat, too long linger glances seem you. Belong, unit, dinnerward, drop, silk ribbon A. Upper chamber to often two-bit summon kitchen maid A. Sees everyone. Word says no one. Servant stares side door by pass hurry and someone behind shut clacks escapes air, warm perfume, breath A. Follow and you don't. Ask and you don't. Knowledge dangerous castles. In but timing worse is. Wrong embrace during wrong place beat to. Away sent up and people howl or border duties reassign. Which winter surviving luck good code for. North Tower lady story whispered real woman once or maybe several legend into layers. Bodice lining sewn diary kept supposedly love forbidden confessions filled with. Found it when involved noblemen vanished. Punished unexiled not erased just. Tapestry from removed crest is spoken never name is again. Chapel near tile cracked boot print only clue scrubs never clean. Nobility unexclusive to lust is it. Servants among swift raw desire is. Inherit and protect no legacy consider no, just curfews chores between chances fleeting. Laundry yard glance stable near hush meeting A. Ale barrels behind passion embrace called generously to what locked kitchen boy Falconer's apprentice once walking on you. Stop when they didn't. Nodded just you at Tuesdays. It was like heat all for coldness to theirs. Heirs produce failing after way sent wives. Titles for tolerated husband's castle. Owned there and welcome truly never, but seamstress to confess woman noble overheard. Once dogs hunting his with love more and he's me with Dan. Nothing said seamstress, just knotted hem tightened up. Letters castle through past veins like forbidden thoughts carrying. Coded phrases, press flowers, symbols two people only understand. Book inside, tucked feather. Ear close to little hum song line A. Way finds love, but trouble first finds often it. Risk despite still do people. Wrong person fall for wrong name prayer scroll. Right smile, totally seated too high someone asks. Why? Castle cold, so rules routines full, so small rebellion fire feels even because maybe protection sometimes love is. Extra hour rest lie on that steward A. Bread slips night boy stables hiding to. Blanket hand washerwoman aging maid trembling accused beneath lord son at long to looking to. Reported no one. Away looked even guards the. Then longing acts unkind, only aches that. Felt yourself at watching someone courtyard cross land in hand, unaware gaze you're of. Foolishest, sweetest, safe unsaid stays so long as it. But consequences silence even as castles end. Tapestry hanging skew slightly past. Behind it passage narrow rarely used servants, secret escapes for once met. Walked it before you. Walls through twist confession whispered like points two meet seen ever being without letting. Stones these between hearts broken mended how many wonder you. Castleback far chamber one old love letter loose floor tile beneath lies. Reads no one now. Road who remembers even no one. But in faded way that parchment does touch often carefully reverently been when only. Back coming kept someone long after let go to the after. Hall narrows again torchlight dimming. Ahead somewhere murmur voices too, then silent fall. Intrude, you don't. Respect out of left better doors. Some learned you fear out of not. Door clacked behind just like that. Off shuffle footsteps alone again you're. Secrets and wrapped maze stone heart back the own guarding you. Next morning wake shouting to usual kitchen bark chapel chant on not or but sharp frantic something. Fingers half frozen tunic pull on with noise. Follow already suspecting what is you and right you're. Courtyard out guard scrambling. Lives are fleeing chickens are. Circles tight angry and pacing seneschal Lord Deanne. Battlements above wildly flapped banners. A. Wind unjust that's warning it. Talk raiders rebels were something of. Sure, quite no one's yet. But locks down gate the drawbridge back into place and becomes castle sealed long A. breath one and now hold. Glamorous unsiege busy. Songs and stands brave, arrows flaming, all its truth, damp wool, dwindling food 40, unbathed people, chamber pots, too few sharing smell the innards. Lower hall past barrels placed into row being. Grain, salted meat, apples, last the already look they've given up which. Orders there have servants. Water rations shutters bold. Needed if only night fires light. Bucket-handed snow carry inside. Well block case and you're told to. Questions unasked don't. Questions asked people would seem you happen siege during too. Shut up told either. Or outside go find out themselves for. Cold and faster spreads tension. Dignified acts still try nobles their brooches, wearing midday prayers hosting, but faces betray them. Blade sharpens, eyes close, with psalmful mutters, night one see you. Faith louder, its groaning walls start when. Day later, North Tower from back stumbles, servant news, with woods in movement, saw scout, 8. Soldiers, be could villagers, could shadows, be could. Way either walls leave, no one guard double has, and blacksmith's wife old tale. Remember you great famine, during 30 days siege, survived, castle, one rat's boiled stew pretending by. Story at clapped everyone. True probably was it now realizing. Day 3 by supplies carefully portioned. Water mostly stew the. Self-defense with hard enough bread beef and meat. Dog on it's not. Muttered someone confidence too much with questions, asking stop say let's just you after. Together huddle people when faster moves disease. Servants is quarter, in child one coughing starts. Next day 3 other sick are. Prayer fast suggests someone. Quarantine suggests else someone. Happens neither. Instead, corridor through walks priest incense, swinging thick eyes water makes so it. Helps unknotted. Smells better works than often medicine medieval. Learns you. Fields across rolls sound strange outside. First thunder like it's. Then sky, on it's not realize you ram battering it. Gate, reached enemy, for whoever they are. Soldier, on your not close even not. But what on with crack here you commands, roar, scream, someone maybe ours, maybe theirs. Tower from above murder holes, who poured oil boiling. Force desperate with down hurled stones. Ear past whistle arrows. Grip loses, soldier one courtyard into crashes he. Groans he safety to drag someone. Morning time no yet unknot. Nightfall by Holds Gate barely just. Withdraw might enemy say, people lost too many days at. Believe want you, but over far from this tells you something. Meeting calls Lord Hall great the end. Candles holding women men, with lined walls pale drawn faces. Listening like low burns fire the. Inventory reads steward the. Good on its not. Weak another last may grain the. Less meat the. Abundant ironically wine the. Fasting humility suggests priest the. Squirrel comes it suggests cook the. Follow days and much talk no one. Stop music the. Quieter even seem dogs the. Stage fortress are no longer its stomach self-eat, trying not to A. Differently see begin things now you. Admired once tapestry, same kindling now looks like. Fuel, wooden bench, ornate the. Chapel and books old fire morning. Start tear out begun priest 1 pages. Silver goblets, even snowmelt regret, would fill the less impressive scene. Tower from cry eventually outrings retreating enemy the. Just like that. Given reason no. Men lost maybe. Came reinforcements maybe. Board got just maybe they. Cheers no one immediately. Glances cautious breaths hesitant strange realization. Still hear you're that end. Open creeks gate days later slowly suspiciously wind shoot arrows expecting as if. But no one out there now. Snow empty bent grass just. Fanfare no. Onions burnt cold wine taste relief just. Outside stumble world forgot existed into. Face sun hits foreign touch light. Singing again birds are. Gone they noticed unhadn't you. Food nearly gone clothes, smoke stiff nerves, knots tied with now. Standing still castle the barely. But stood it. Survival celebrates castle undozen. Exhales it. Gates creak open life slinks back in once no parade. No feast, no ramparts from proud decorations. Work back go people just. Castles in that how is it. Horror ends chores resume the. Courtyard into released chickens the. Shoveled stables the. Flagstones from battering rams sound erased try like scrubbed floors the. Falls night again, something else returns routine as. Haul along torchlight, familiar flicker stair-worn creek 1,000 feet by. Tired servants, half-muttered complaints, the kitchen and down cook asleep table at head flour sack on resting her. Elbow near low, fresh left someone's boy kitchen. Thank you, silent thumbs nearly lost once on. Gestures quiet these. Records tapestry no, but together holds castle, actually what they're. Chapel by past candles, single burns, cracked wooden cross beside. Whispering kneels serving it. Thanks unloudly, not fanfare, unwith not God, hear enough soft, just nearby, pacing read, grain report tomorrows, with noticed unnot the small enough end. Holiness here often unremarkable hides and ramparts to climb, eventually drawn silence by the crisp night, the sky, inky pricking light meters, tiny visible, finally stars the ledge on sit guards, often doze, I one open to wear. Story stones, these remember, how many wonder you? Morning next come a facet, with noise as usual, all clanging pots, stewards, shouting knights clumsy, candlestands knocking over. But now for longer little just hush to hold on you, because castle most honest when this is. Feast sermon siege, enduring not. But now when watching no one's, when banners hang loose boots off fire, low burns and. Heartbeat castles the steady unseen tomorrow, toward everyone carrying quietly. Parapet from turned footsteps soft stone on. Behind you towers above blink stars patient ancient and. Below sleeps castle though. Door wooden outside, right, clanking pot someone sound up wake you. They call it a generous door. It's more like two uneven boards held together by rust and prayer. The air is cold, not brisk. Cold, the kind of cold that lives in your bones and makes your breath curl the air like ghost smoke. Blankets. You're lucky if you got 2 layers of itchy wool that smell faintly of goat. There's no such thing as central heating here. The thick stone walls you once assumed were cozy and majestic. They're refrigerators in disguise. Above you, the great hall is already creaking awake. Someone stoking,